riding a 3-game winning streak. I imagine that has to help the mood right now. I mean, how much fun is this right now for you as a coach?
It's fun. I mean, weekly though, we always have new challenges weekly, and so even yesterday, you just try and challenge my guys to make sure they stay on task. Because I got a few guys that are playing some special teams, and I want them to be locked into the special teams meetings and game plans. And so, it is exciting. I mean, as we continue to move forward, we're going to take it day by day, and that's been our stress, and that's been what we've tried to stress to the kids that hey, it's a daily process. Every day you got to come to work with a great attitude, win or lose, and be ready to roll and be ready to get better each day.
Obviously, this offense has had a lot more success running the ball over the last few weeks. Has that changed anything you've had to do with the receivers in terms of, maybe not focusing so much on routes, things like that, but downfield blocking for runners? How much have you had to emphasize that?
A little bit, and a lot of the individual drills that I do throughout the week will be dictated on what we did in a game that I think we need to enhance and get better at, or during a practice. If we're doing inside run and we have a scheme in, I don't think the guys are blocking it well enough, or their technique is poor, we'll just work hand placement drills. We'll work footwork drills and keep it a base. So it ties into it a little bit, but I try to sprinkle something in that has something to do with a physical blocking drill every week, and then obviously we continue to do our routes in there and things like that. So it's just fine-tuning the details every week. So
how tough has your job become this week, knowing that Texas is getting a handful of those secondary players back, those notable guys that they haven't had for a few weeks, and obviously it changes the way that they're going to defend you guys in the passing game?
Yeah, I mean, they're a tall task. It's Texas. They're always going to have great athletes, and they're always going to have a great scheme. And, whether it's their number 2 guy, I know they've had to play a lot of guys in the back end, and so those guys have now had experience. So now that you're bringing your guys who they would consider true starters, I don't think they have an issue now being able to play any guy that may need to step into a role, since they've had to do that. They've shuffled some guys around, but and they're coming off a bye week, and so I'm sure they're going to be refreshed. I'm sure they're going to be ready to play, seeing as they took a week off, to get some things tidied up, and probably did some recruiting and things like that. So it's just a matter of showing up every week, and we're going to take care of K-State, and we're going to try to get the best game plans that we can, and we got a tough opponent ahead of us.
Where have you seen the most growth out of your group over the past couple of weeks since we last talked to you?
Man, probably consistency, catching the football. Still got to tighten up some things in the run game, and it's just little things. Throughout the week, if I see a guy that has a poor stance to start, I'm gonna highlight that and emphasize that gets taken care of. But overall, probably just consistency. And the tempo that we're playing at is a lot better. Whether it's getting lined up, breaking the huddle, I think we're playing faster with a more sense of urgency. So that's been probably the most standout thing that I've noticed.
What kind of a challenge has it been to manage Malik's snaps over the last couple of weeks, just since he's been dealing with a couple of injuries?
Yeah, manage them not too bad. It just the way we practice, I'm able to grab a dude, and have Malik work some different drill work, and then have another guy come up to help out at some team periods and things like that. But I think as Chabassin continues to grow and become a better player, that helps, because now you're not really managing too many reps. You're just saying, hey, the next guy's in, and that guy rolls. So that's kind of how I've looked at it. As long as guys can step up, I always kind of it's kind of plug and play at that point. You're able to put guys in and not necessarily worry about what a scheme might be, or can this guy do this or that. I think all those guys, we expect a lot out of them. The standard's high, and so if one guy is unable to go, the next guy I have to feel comfortable with, and that's where I think Chabassin's role is playing a bigger part.
Guys checked in at number 16 last night in those initial college football playoff rankings. I know it's still pretty early, but I guess what are your initial thoughts on being so high in that poll?
I don't really have too many thoughts at all on it. Somebody brought that up, and like I said, I didn't even see it last night. I think I told somebody earlier I was actually burping a couple of babies that night, and trying to get some babies to go to sleep. But we have 2-month-old twins, and the Apple TV might have been on, but I think it was on a baking show. So at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is, man. Rankings are rankings. They don't really have any bearing on how I go about my business, and really how any of us go about our business. We try to treat every week the same, try to get better every single week, and so it's cool. I think it's cool for the fan base and for other folks, but at the end of the day, we're going to continue to do what we got to do.